Mr. Eli Gelman, Chairman of the Executive Council, President Professor Ariel Porat, Rector Professor Mark Steif, Campaign Co-Chair and Board Chair-elect Ms. Daphna Meitar Nechmad, Campaign Co-Chair and Board Vice Chair Dr. Anita Friedman, Global Campaign Leadership, Governors, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to open the first assembly of the 2021 Board of Governors meeting of Tel Aviv University. Despite the coronavirus, travel restrictions, time zone differences, we are finally all here today, the university family, here in Israel and all over. Let me warmly welcome those of you who are joining us online from across the world, governors, governors-elect, the presidents and members of our friends associations, and our many university supporters. Your active participation is crucial for the success of our meeting and our university, and so that end you are invited to make comments and ask questions via the chat feature. It's the first time we are talking in this language here, and we will make sure that you address the Q&A session a bit later. Those are changing times. We are talking about chat, we are talking about Zoom. We will tell you all the time, unmute yourself. This is the new style of the new era. Our board meeting here on campus this year coincides with the opening of the academic year 2021, and the atmosphere here is indeed extraordinarily vibrant. Those of you who are walking around the campus must have seen a buzzing environment. Young people who are happy to be together in classrooms again after endless COVID-19 restrictions. Rest assured, though, that the university is adhering to our Ministry of Health protocols to safeguard the health and safety of all students, faculty members, and visitors. We have endured for almost 2 years under the cloud of COVID-19 and have now reached the stage in which living alongside the virus has become routine. This is indeed very good, because it means that the university and Israel can move on from a mode of short-term crisis management to a new mode of long-term expansion and growth. We follow the tradition that at this stage of our proceedings, namely at the very beginning, we recognize and pay respect to Tel Aviv University's governors who passed away since our last meeting. The names and photos of these beloved friends will now be screened.
Marcel Adams, Sheldon Adelson, Alan Offzine, Oded Aron, Herman Kahan, Walter Castellan, Hannah-Laure Kipp, Issy Liebeler, Jerry Oren, Millie Phillips, Joseph Safra, Eric Sampson, Yoel Saraf, David Serrer, Dorothy Shawhead, Lonnie Sillerin, Peter Tarnesby, Nick Tarsh, Maurizio Zaid,
Their dedication to and support of excellence at the university touched us, and their legacy inspires us. We have expressed condolences to their families on behalf of the Board of Governors and the university. We cherish their memory. May they rest in peace. Thank you Tamar Barzilai, from our own Buchmann Mehta School of Music, for your beautiful interpretation of Bach's Suite No. 2 for cello, Allegro Moderato. Tamar, of course, performed for us on the basson. Ladies and gentlemen, a thriving board of governors requires continual renewal. And I would now like to welcome our new governors who have been recommended by the nominations committee and whose ratification we will undertake shortly. First, we will present new governors who are abroad, and then we will acknowledge Israeli ones who have joined us here live. I'm proud to report that we have an extremely strong group of Argentinian governors this year who are now second-generation governors of our great university, Tel Aviv University. This year, we asked each of our new governors what it means to them to become members of Tel Aviv University's board. And it is our pleasure to share with you their responses.
Alejandro Shaul, Marcela Shaul, Marisa Ganzas, Gustavo Grabivker, Javier Katz Goldwitz, Lucas Wertheim, Ariella Kotler, Jeffrey Katz, Stuart Litvak, Yafa Tegegni, David Altschul, Paul Bronfman, Catherine Vizan, Alan Ziegler, Evelyn Ziegler, Jonathan Offzien, Meredith Offzien Bauer, Leslie Offzien Levine, Adina Simmet, Michael Singer, Michael Klein, Adam Morels, Ellie Seidman, Sarah Seidman, Alejandro Ganzas,
I hope that some of you, especially the old-timers, recognize some of these new governors, how similarly they look to their parents who have been with us for many years. This is our theme, Le Dor Vador. And now we welcome those who are able to be with us here today in Israel. I'm going to read the names, and I assume that the individuals who are being called will step up, will do some handshaking, photos, and then we move on with our business. So let me read the names. Ambassador Tzvi Chefetz. We were instructed. צריך גם תעודות, חכה. יש תעודות? כן. Ambassador Chefetz. Come close. Thank you. Mr. Izar Kane, please. Mr. Dov Kotler. יקירי, לך תספר להם. לא, בבקשה.
צריך להחזיק את זה גם?
כן. Mr. Yaakov Peled. And while Mr. Peled comes here, let me just tell you that Mr. Yaakov Peled and his wife just celebrated yesterday their 55th wedding anniversary. But the beauty of this love affair is that Mr. and Mrs. Peled met each other here on campus when they were young students. And how not, their son is now here on our faculty, of course. לדור ודור. תיזהר.
גם התחתנו פה.
Oh, they told me that they are fully kosher because they got married also here. Mrs. Shirley Sagol. מזל טוב, תחזיקי את זה.
זה גם חיבוק.
בבקשה, מותר? תודה רבה. מיסטר יוסי סגול. As we say, it's all in the family.
חיבוק? שאלה.
איזה מכות. יוסי, קח תמונה. תודה רבה. Mrs. Miriam Swerdlin. Please, come on. Let's take a photo. Mr. Thank you.
Thank you
Please.
for joining us.
Can you hold this with us? Come. Thank you so much. Our pleasure and honor. And finally, Dr. Giulietta Verzin. מזל טוב, בואי תסתובבי, ננציח את זה. הכרתי את כל המשפחה הזאת בארגנטינה, קדימה.
טיפול נמרץ, לא סתם.
מסוכן. בבקשה.
תודה רבה.
כל טוב.
תודה.
עכשיו אני מתחיל את הדברים שלי, בינתיים זה עובד. This is the last chance for us to decide if we admit this marvelous group to us or not. So I would like to invite you to ratify the election of this impressive group of new governors. Please raise your hands if you approve. Wow. Protocol says, don't ask who is against, just say unanimously. Look at the screen. There aren't enough boxes there to capture all the 5 continents. Thank you very much for joining us here today. We are all together in greeting our new colleagues, our new governors, and let me now use the next few minutes for some reflections on the past decade or so in which we had the opportunity to be together. Tomorrow, at the second plenary session, we will have a transition of the chairmanship of the Board of Governors. I will bid you להתראות, au revoir, but not goodbye. And we will welcome our new chairwoman, Daphna Meitar Nechmad, and we will have the opportunity to speak a lot about her. Passing the baton of leadership is always an uplifting moment, and we can look forward to a festive and rewarding event. Transitions also present a suitable moment to reflect on the past and its lessons for the future. Over the last decade, we have experienced many crises on the world scale: economic, financial, political upheaval, climate crisis, pandemic, and more. So much drama. Even here, in our little Israel, we have experienced things that were unimaginable just before that. 4 elections, would you believe that? 3 lockdowns. And on the other side of the scale, the Abraham Peace Accord with the Emirates, and huge advances in science and technology. Now, the word crisis in Chinese, in loose translation, contains 2 characters, Wu Ji, one signifying danger, the other signifying opportunity. So our challenge in coping with the crisis is to transform dangers into opportunities. And I've seen Tel Aviv University seize several such opportunities during my tenure. The first is globalized research and studies. The issues troubling all societies have commonalities. For example, they don't recognize borders. Refugees, floods, disease, terror, pollution, energy, water, these are universal. Tel Aviv University has responded by significantly boosting its global focus and reach. Over the last decade, we have seen the increased visibility and impact of Tel Aviv University on the world stage. The university has expanded research collaborations with leading institutions in Europe and the Americas, Asia, Australia, and recently in the Persian Gulf. Moreover, despite COVID-19, enrollment is robust among international students, and both contribute to the dynamic campus atmosphere and go home as ambassadors for the university and for the State of Israel. The international student body enrolled in degrees program today is more than triple the number just 10 years ago. Another common feature in this globalized world is multidisciplinary nature. Take the coronavirus, for example. President Ariel Porat, our admired president, I should say, responded quickly to its emergence by establishing the Center for Combating Pandemics to coordinate the biomedical, social, educational, and public policy research being done across dozens of departments at our university. Similarly, we have the Sagol School of Neuroscience that at one and the same time pursues a cure for Alzheimer's, works on neural chips to reverse blindness, and innovates teaching methods based on brain function. These are just two examples of many cross-disciplinary centers and initiatives that have sprung up at the university in areas ranging from post-trauma to cyber, and from smart cities to quantum science. And as is being said, if you build it, they will come. Increasingly, Tel Aviv University is successfully competing for star faculty recruits who themselves come with multidisciplinary educational backgrounds and seek a team that embraces that. A third common denominator to the many crises that we have faced is their urgency. Cyber attacks, rising sea levels, hunger, anti-Semitism, and BDS, these cannot wait. They require improved understanding and knowledge, along with scientific, technological, and policy solutions. Our university is alert and responsive to new challenges, quickly introducing research and teaching programs that address realities on the ground. Another trend I've witnessed with tremendous satisfaction is Tel Aviv University's spectacular rise in the innovation arena. The university is actively driving much of the business creativity that is associated with the city of Tel Aviv and the State of Israel. Industries are eager to partner with Tel Aviv University to both collaborate on research and train the next generation of knowledge workers. The result is the entrepreneurial ecosystem that Tel Aviv University is celebrated for, and that has resulted in the university being the top 8th school in the world to produce graduates with successful venture capital-backed companies. Consider, Tel Aviv University is the only one outside of the United States to make the top 10 entrepreneurial universities. Last, but definitely not least, we have seen how economic, environmental, and health emergencies disproportionately affect the weakest segments of society, the poor, the less educated, and the most vulnerable. If I had to pinpoint one characteristic of Tel Aviv University that I most relate to and am proud of, it would be its staunch and courageous championship of humanism and democracy. While some universities across the globe limit frank and critical discourse or prohibit students from demonstrating, Tel Aviv University is an oasis of freedom, tolerance, and pluralism. And in an era of increasing polarization and tribalism in Israeli society, the university is responding by stepping up its special programs for disadvantaged high school pupils, girls in STEM, minorities, the ultra-Orthodox, students with special needs, and of course, young people from Israel's underprivileged communities and peripheral cities and towns. We are deeply fortunate as governors of Tel Aviv University to be involved in such an impressive, leading and influential institution. But we should not rest on our laurels. Tel Aviv University is competing against many worthy organizations for talent, for financial support, for attention, and for partnership. So what can you do about it? You can assist the university by sponsoring young faculty recruits and doctoral students, setting up international scholarship funds, and supporting state-of-the-art research and teaching facilities. You can enlarge our network by introducing your friends and your local Tel Aviv University Association, inviting them to actively participate in our global campaign and find fulfillment in being part of our Tau mission. You, our dear governors, have been amazing partners in this drive, and we need to keep the momentum going. My dear friends, and now few words on working with you as chairman. Over the last decade, I've seen the Board of Governors evolve into a true community of friends and colleagues. Even when we cannot meet in person, we can only Zoom. I see the happiness lighting up your faces when you meet each other on the screen. We just saw so many of you smiling, glowing, unmuting themselves. I've seen second and third generation governors and donors enter this community, preserving the legacy of their parents and grandparents in many cases, but also striking out on their own to further their own interests and passions through support for Tau, for Tel Aviv University. I've seen the infusion of fresh energy and the new cadre of younger business and community leaders volunteer on the university's behalf, such as the group of freshly minted Argentinian governors we just welcomed. I've seen the Friends chapters around the world grow and develop to an unprecedented level, and especially the mutual exchange and camaraderie of the presidents and professional staff in planning events and campaigns. Much hard work still lies ahead, but with our conviction and determination as governors, friends, and benefactors, we will renew our commitment to bring the university to ever new summits and ever new pursuits and big ideas. And now, my dear friends, I will invite our president, Professor Ariel Porat, to deliver his State of the University address. Thank you. While our president makes his way here, I would like to remind you about the chat feature, and you are more than welcome to put in questions, answers. We will give the answers. Thank you very much, my dear friends.
Thank you, Jacob, and welcome everyone, especially those of you who have joined us online from around the world. It's moving to see how the Tau community has stayed united and committed during these challenging Corona times. Because of that commitment, we have passed the $800 million mark in our $1 billion global campaign raising $90 million in cash just this last year. This is all thanks to you, our governors and friends, to our campaign cabinet, to the campaign co-chairs, Daphna Mitar-Nechmad, Chair-elect of the Board of Governors, and Dr. Anita Friedman, Vice Chair of the Board of Governors, and of course to Amos Elad, VP for Resource Development, Yael Regev, and their wonderful team. We have $200 million more to go to reach our target. The funds we raise will give a tremendous boost to TAU's 4 main priority areas, which I will present to you today. Our vision is to transform Tel Aviv University into the leading one in Israel in most fields and a top-ranking one globally. It sounds ambitious, but I am confident that with your help, we can make it happen. One of our top priority goals is to globalize the university much further. I am happy to tell you that Tel Aviv University received the highest level of competitive funding from the government, many millions of shekels, to develop our international school. But this is far from being enough. I am currently discussing a multi-million-dollar project with a donor to name TAU International. Such a gift will effect a dramatic expansion. In the next decade, we intend to double international students from 2,000 today to 4,000, to increase the number of visiting professors from 50 to 150 per year, to host more than 100 international conferences annually, and to increase the number and volume of joint teaching and research collaborations with top universities worldwide. We aim that each school of TAU will have an ongoing collaboration with at least one school or department of a top university abroad. Regarding these targets, TAU supporters are pushing us in the right direction. Sylvan Adams, a vice chairman of the Board of Governors, allocated funds specifically for international conferences as part of an ultra-large gift in support of the Sports Center, Sport Research Institute, and young faculty recruitment. TAU Governor Harry Bloomfield QC established a fund to bring more foreign postdocs to TAU, which is a vital component of our plan. As for institutional collaborations, the Lester Crown Foundation and TAU Governor Alicia Cantor have pledged support for joint degree programs with Northwestern Law and Columbia University, respectively. For those of you who do not know, our Buchman Faculty of Law has 2 international joint teaching programs for LLM students, one with Berkeley and another with Northwestern. As to Columbia, a year ago, we established with Columbia University a new joint program in liberal arts with 2 minors, one in life science and the other in entrepreneurship. Columbia is becoming a strategic partner of TAU. In addition to our new BA program, we are going to cooperate with them on a fascinating new program on aging, together with a business entity in the United Arab Emirates. MIT is considering joining us too. Last but not least, here is the really hot news. We are considering opening a modest academic center in Florence, Italy. We will decide on that in a few months. The second of our 4 top strategic and fundraising priorities is broader multidisciplinary research and teaching. To this end, in the last 2 years, the university launched multidisciplinary centers for combating pandemics, artificial intelligence and data science, quantum science and technology, climate change, and aging. When I say multidisciplinarity, I mean centers that bridge between the hard sciences, exact sciences, life sciences, engineering, and the softer sciences, humanities, social sciences. The idea here is to take advantage of being the most comprehensive university in Israel and create added value from this. Let me say a few words about some of these centers. As you may recall, we launched our pandemic center last year at the height of the lockdowns. But it's clear today, after the Delta wave, that pandemics are going to continue to challenge us with unpredictable twists and turns. Our pandemic center deals with all aspects of the crisis, not just the biological ones, but also the economic, legal, and psychological ones, and many more aspects. The center received a generous founder's gift from Tau Governor Frank Lowy, along with seed funding from the Uri Milner Foundation and Tau governors Dr. Katie Fields Ryant and Dr. Gary Ryant. We also received seed money from the Aging Center from Netzach Israel Foundation, and that will include the Columbia University Dubai partnership I mentioned before. Regarding AI and data science, we are determined to become world leaders, as this field is an engine driving all others. To illustrate, in my area, law, experiments have shown that in some types of litigation, AI could do better than a human judge. We are not yet at the point when algorithms will replace judges, but it is clear to me that the legal arena is going to change dramatically in the next decade or so. And the same holds for many other spheres. Therefore, we won't only focus on research, but are preparing teaching programs that integrate AI into law, economics, psychology, and possibly other fields. There are tremendous funding opportunities in all aspects of AI, including in the humanities, arts, and social sciences, and we have so far received generous support from Google and the Durer family. We also got the highest level of government grants for our AI research. In the area of climate change research, which is based at the Porter School of the Environment and Earth Sciences, we received a timely gift of scholarships from Peter Smoller, and we are also benefited from the Frankel Initiative for Combating Pollution, founded by Tau Governor Aaron Frankel, that supports environmental and climate projects in Monaco, Israel, and beyond. Of the dozens of groups on campus working in either AI or climate change, I am pleased to share with you a short video of a young researcher, Dr. Ophir Levy, who combines the two.
Climate records are basically breaking almost every year, and that can really endanger ecological system. So I use artificial intelligence and machine learning to study how climate change is affecting animals and strategies that we can use to protect them. To carry out the research, we go to natural habitats. We track environmental factors such as ground temperatures and solar radiation. And we also track the performance of animals, such as their activities at different climates and different habitats. We use automatic sensors to measure most of these variables. Sensors such as a small drone with a thermal camera and even small buttons that can measure temperatures and humidity. These sensors, they collect a lot of data. And to make sense of all this data, we use artificial intelligence and machine learning tools that my team developed in the lab. Another way that AI can help us is to try to simulate how the environments will look in the future, and to come up with strategies that can help these animals. We're basically trying to build, use these tools in order to build a better world for the future. I really think that decision makers can use our artificial intelligence tools when they aim to predict conservation strategies for animals and natural habitats. In the future, we hope that these models can help us in the human world. Try to identify risks of heat strokes under climate change, areas where new disease vectors can arrive due to climate change. With each step, we uncover a piece of the unknown that can help us build a more sustainable world.
Dr. Levy's work draws on zoology, computer science, engineering, medicine, urban studies, public policy, and many other fields, a great example of the kind of cross-disciplinary research we are promoting. I would like now to pay special attention to the humanities, which is its own category for renewal and development. The humanities have undergone erosion for the last 20 years as student enrollment has steadily fallen, not just in Israel, but around the world. Yet, we cannot gloss over the broad and diversified role that the humanities play in every field. Tau is taking active steps to make the humanities central again. We are very lucky to have as partners the Mandel Foundation, which expanded their support to incorporate humanities courses for all incoming STEM students next year, the first program of its kind in Israel. The Dan David Prize, already world recognized for 20 years, is being redesigned as the world's largest history prize with a multidisciplinary humanities and arts orientation. Please join the online launch on October 21st. The details are in the board program. The David family is also making an additional contribution to the Dan David Center for Human Evolution and Biohistory Research, which this year made headlines for the discovery of a new ancient human. I spoke about globalization, and as we have seen, there is an increasing multidisciplinarity around. Now I would like to move on to the third of our top-tier priorities for Tel Aviv University, which is to significantly deepen ties with industry. Our plan is to either house or facilitate many more collaborations between Tau and the high-tech and the biotech world, hospitals, government agencies, and NGOs. Tau's 17 affiliated hospitals are an underutilized resource for cooperation, but we are making progress. We just opened a joint gene therapies laboratory at the Sourasky Medical Center, staffed by both Sourasky and Tau researchers, and we are planning similar joint research centers with other major medical centers such as Rabin, Sheba, and Shamir. The Sagol family, founders of the Sagol School of Neuroscience, are establishing a major initiative to train hospital physicians and advance research in regenerative medicine, the first in Israel and possibly worldwide. Vlad and Sana Shmunis are supporting the Shmunis School, which is doing amazing work in cancer and other biomedical research, including in COVID-19, and here too hospitals are actively involved. We have a number of successful frameworks for engaging with industry partners, including Ramot, Tau Ventures, the Entrepreneurship Center, and campus-based startup accelerators. These days, we are launching the Center for Innovation Laboratories with about 10 labs that are especially attractive to industry. Firms will pay an annual fee to be members in a club that could reap benefits from inventions developed in these labs. Our model was inspired by MIT Media Lab with some tweaks. Finally, we are building a 10-story building that is industry-sponsored in our engineering complex, which is part of a much bigger idea we are exploring with the city of Tel Aviv to build an industrial park adjacent to the campus. Everything I have spoken about so far affects Tau's standing and impact in the international arena, be it in research, teaching, or technology. But what about the university's contribution to Israeli society? Our fourth priority area for the coming years revolves around equality, diversity, and social responsibility. To begin with, I appointed this year the first Equality and Diversity Commissioner at an Israeli university. Other universities quickly followed our lead. Some of you may know her, Professor Netta Ziv from the Buchman Faculty of Law, and she will tell you about our big ideas in a short video.
At Tel Aviv University, we basically have all the groups that encompass the Israeli society. We have Jews, we have Arabs, we have Mizrahi and Ashkenazi, students that are LGBT, students with disabilities, students from the ultra-Orthodox community, from Ethiopian descent, from the periphery, and from the center. It's not enough just to open the gates to all groups in Israeli society. We also want to make the campus a shared space, a shared experience, to make everybody feel that they belong. I'm proud to say that Tel Aviv University was the first university in Israel to take the step and institutionalize our commitments and set up a commission for equity and diversity. And this is what the commission is set to do. So we're developing programs and putting effort on bringing Jews and Arabs, ultra-Orthodox and secular students to actually study together, to do research together, to do programming together. We have one program at the clinics at the law school in which Arab students work with Holocaust survivors. We have programs to support ultra-Orthodox students. We have a specific program that provides them with mentors and with support in order to bridge the gaps within which they come into the university. If we welcome more communities in our arts and our humanities, we will produce better knowledge, richer experiences, more research that will reflect everybody's experiences in Israeli society. Tel Aviv University is perfectly set to be the place where we can show and demonstrate how Israeli society can be, how the dream and the fulfillment of a just and equitable society can actually happen. We want everybody to feel equal and that they belong here just like anybody else.
One of Tel Aviv University's flagship scholarship programs gives gifted young people from Israel's periphery an alternative track for admittance based on their high school grades compared to their peers. To illustrate, if you are a top 5 in your high school class of 300 pupils in a developing town in the south, you could be admitted to the most competitive schools at Tau, even if that would be totally impossible under the regular criteria. As the founder of this program 16 years ago, when I was Dean of Law, I'm especially proud of its expansion across the campus. Last year, we increased the number of students admitted through this program by 50%, and we intend to broaden it even more. I am happy to report that we received a significant infusion of funding for periphery students from Ruth and Amos Vilnai, and also from Tau Governor Daniela Steinitz and her husband Daniel. And listen to this. Kathy and Gary Ryan surprised us just last Thursday at the American Friends Gala, 3 a.m. Israel time, with a very significant gift for periphery scholarships donated in honor of Dr. Anita Friedman, who will be addressing you in a little while. Thank you, Kathy and Gary. Creating equality and diversity applies to our faculty ranks as well, and I'm grateful to Joseph and Janet Neubauer for pioneering a faculty recruitment fund for Arab Israelis, and to Irit Rappaport for supporting a new mentoring program for women graduate students in STEM. The university's social responsibility extends beyond our own students and researchers to Israeli society at large, and we have numerous social engagement programs. We recently got a gift from Zeev Feldman for our Tau Impact program that sends students into the community and currently benefits 10,000 people annually. Finally, at the university, believe we can play a powerful role through education in professionalizing the work of business and civic leaders. Leon Rekanati, a pillar of the Israeli economy, has dedicated the Lahav Executive Education Unit at the Kohler School of Management, and this is a scoop, we are finalizing an amazing new program to be run at the Kohler School for training mayors in Israel with the support of the Sagor family, maybe with the collaboration of Harvard University. I've summarized our main aims moving forward and the wonderful responsiveness of you, our governors and friends, in furthering them. Your far-sightedness and generosity warm my heart every day. Just a few days ago, longtime benefactor Maurice Kahn, who has become a personal friend, spontaneously enabled me to keep a Tau top researcher who had gotten an offer from a competing university. He graciously pledged the multi-million-dollar donation I requested, and this was in addition to his renewed funding this year for pioneering cancer research. And less than 24 hours ago, another major donor, former chairman of the board, Michael Steinert, announced a large new gift to the Steinert Museum of Natural History, a jewel on our campus. I would like to conclude with some brief thanks to Tau's management team, which saw renewal this year. We have a new rector, Mark Steif, my main partner in the academic arena, a top scientist in his field, which is engineering, along with the vice rector, Eyal Zisser. We have a new VP for research, Dan Peer, himself a star researcher in life sciences, and a new VP for academic international affairs, Milet Shamir, who is creative, entrepreneurial, and even an adventurer. There are new deans who got appointed exactly a year ago. Itai Sened, Dean of Social Sciences, Eran Neumann, Dean of Arts, Gali Cinnamon at Humanities, and Tova Milo at Exact Sciences. Humanities and Exact Sciences are the largest faculties together with medicine, and I am so glad that they are now run by women. The former rector and I also appointed the new Dean of Innovative Learning, Liat Kishon Rabin, who, under Rector Steif, is now formulating a strategy to transform digital teaching and learning in the post-COVID-19 era. I want to thank Gadi Frank, Tau's Director General, who is a gifted manager and central figure in running the university. And also Amos Elad. You all know how talented and devoted he is. I would like to express appreciation to Eli Gelman, chairman of the Executive Council. Although his main job is to supervise me, he can always be relied on for constructive, wonderful advices. I cannot pass the proceedings back to Jacob, our outgoing chairman, without expressing my extra special gratitude to him for 2 tenures of magnificent service on behalf of the university. will be, of course, paying proper tribute to him at the second plenary tomorrow. Thanks to all the international participants in the meeting. I miss seeing you in person and hope to see you soonest on campus or in your home countries. Let me end with a brief note. We will very soon publish the Tau strategy on our website. Every institution should know where it is going and communicate this clearly and transparently. Please feel free to communicate your thoughts to me once you have read about our strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Porat, for this comprehensive, inspiring, and highly informative statement on the state of the university. Let me invite now Mr. Eli Gelman for the Executive Council report. Eli Gelman, as you all know, is the chairman of the Executive Council of our university. Eli, please.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depends where you all are. I'll be brief. I will not take too much of the time of the busy schedule that Amos and his team prepared for us. But I want to share with you why I'm optimistic about the future of this organization. There are 3 reasons for that, and I want to share them with you. Maybe I will start a few words about myself. I grew up in the technology and high-tech space. I developed the first frequency hopping encrypted communication gear for the Israeli IDF in the early 80s. Developed the first Unix onboard computer for NASA space shuttle in the late 80s. And over the last 30 years, I took part in shaping MDocs to become the largest Israeli-born global software company with 27,000 people around the world, including being the CEO of this company for 8 years. Almost 3 years ago, I gave up on this high-tech career and joined Tel Aviv University as chairman. I take this pro bono job seriously, and I devote about half of my time for that. So why am I optimistic about our future? It all starts with the need, the demand. As a country, Israel needs more highly educated people in any field: medical doctors, biologists, computer scientists, musicians, designers. We need thinkers and philosophers to help us steer in these morally challenging times. Moreover, Israel has no natural resources other than human capital. We have no uranium nor oil. Actually, we don't even have water. I know it is called the land of milk and honey, but it is probably part of a global biblical marketing back in the days. In reality, we have nothing other than human capital, intelligent people. Accordingly, the main driver behind Israel's economy and military strength is intellect. In Tel Aviv University, probably more than in any other university in Israel, we incubate, grow, cultivate, and allow this intellect to thrive. I can safely say the future of this country depends on our success. The vision. I have a clear vision about the university, but much more important is that Ariel Porat and his management team has a very similar vision. This university can and should be more international, more multidisciplinary, and closer to the practical world, the industry, and the practitioners in any field: doctors, lawyers, teachers, architects, engineers, musicians, and anything in between. A clear vision is a mandatory and prerequisite for any success, and we have that. The third component is the ability to execute on the strategy. I strongly believe we have top-notch management to lead us. It starts with Professor Ariel Porat, our president, continues to Mark, our provost, rector, Gadi, our general manager, Amos, who you all know and appreciate, and the two superb VPs for R&D and International, Danny Pierre and Milet Shamir. We are fortunate, truly fortunate, to have Ariel Porat lead this university. I have been working closely with Ariel from his first day on the job, more than 2 years ago, and I want to share with you my trust in him. Ariel is an exceptional individual who has the unique combination of sharp mind and a strong EQ. But not less important, he has two more traits: a stamina to stay its course, and the natural pursuit of constant change for the sake of improvement. A Japanese kaizen in the academic world is quite a remarkable thing to have. The combination of real demand for the intellect and the talent that we cultivate here, a clear vision, and a powerful executive team makes me optimistic about Tel Aviv University. But I cannot finish my little talk here without sharing with you the fact that we all work here under very limited resources, mainly when it comes to pure research. I therefore hope you will continue to support this organization and help us materialize and monetize its large, huge potential for the sake of Israel and the world alike. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eli, and thank you indeed for recognizing the great skills and talents of our team and management team. And we will have, of course, more opportunities to discuss these matters. What brings us all together to this place is fundamental optimism about the future. But this optimism can be translated into reality only if it is provided with the appropriate resources. So this is a good occasion to invite to the stage Ms. Daphna Meitar Nechmad, the campaign co-chair and the incoming chairwoman of the Board of Governors, to give us a report. And as a co-chair, she will also introduce us to her co-chairperson. Please, Daphna, the floor is yours.
The globalization of our campaign is manifested in the partnership between Dr. Anita Friedman and me. She sits in San Francisco. I'm in Tel Aviv. Anita, the floor is yours.
To be with you. And Daphna, congratulations on your incoming chairmanship. We're so blessed to have someone with your skill and your heart and your dedication, your experience leading the way and setting the example for all of us. And what an honor to work with our extraordinary President Ariel Porat and Amos Elad and his staff who lead our whole development team worldwide. They're the best. I've worked with development professionals all over the world, and there's no one better than they are. You know, many of you are longtime supporters of this organization. Professional staff, many of you, your parents, your grandparents, you built Israel, you built Tel Aviv University. Some of you are just joining us for the first time, but all of us are dedicated. We're all dedicated to building something really, really important. We understand the historic importance of our work together, Tel Aviv University. You know, despite all the economic difficulties and all the disruption in the lives, all of our individual lives and the lives of people worldwide, we were able to raise this past year over $90 million in cash donations. This is the biggest amount ever raised worldwide for Tel Aviv University. What a tribute to the strength of this organization. Now, similarly, Thanks to you, Tel Aviv University and supporters, the funds raised for the whole campaign stand now at $805 million out of our $1 billion target. We're so grateful to members of the campaign cabinet, devoted, committed individuals from around the world. We're so appreciative of their dedication. Look at the international nature of our cabinet. Tel Aviv University campaign underlines the importance of the connection between Israel and world Jewry. United as a Jewish people, we stand strong, and we will prevail, even in the face of the challenges we know Israel and the Jewish people face. I've been really inspired about the support for Tel Aviv University from every place in the world, South America and Europe and Asia, North America, Israel, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, and more. What a tribute. And in a time of economic and social and political turbulence, one certainty is our shared belief in the State of Israel, the miracle of the State of Israel, and in Tel Aviv University as one of its flagship institutions. Another certainty is that the pursuit of knowledge and academic excellence has always powered the Jewish people. It's always been at the center of who we are, our families, what we stand for. So through support of Tel Aviv University and Jewish communities around the world, we can work together to advance solutions to universal challenges, to truly be a light unto the nations. In this way, we strengthen Israel's impact and position in the world. We can all take tremendous pride in Tel Aviv University's outsized contribution to science, scholarship, culture, and technology. We've received donations to support major institutions in tech, cancer research, other diseases, business, technology, Jewish civilization, archaeology, aging, neurodegenerative disease, how to prepare for and deal with pandemics, the law, and much, much more. My work as president of the Koret Foundation, one of the largest Jewish foundations in the world, brought me to Tel Aviv University. We wanted to create stronger connections between the United States and Israel. What better way to do that than bring together world-class institutions to collaborate? UC Berkeley, Stanford are extremely proud of being involved with Israel. It builds a stronger U.S.-Israel relationship. And one thing we know, that all the technology and all the science and all the computers in the world won't solve the very human problems we face. For that, we need people like you. That's at the heart of this university, how it treats people, how it involves people, how it gives meaning to people's lives. All of us coming together, each of you, and many, many more people as well. And of course, it's really about the students. What an amazing group doing extraordinary things. The investment we make in Tel Aviv University, first and foremost, builds the next generation of Israelis and the next generation of youth from around the world who come to Tel Aviv University because they're seeking out a world-class university to attend. It's truly a global university and center of learning. So the funds that we're seeking to raise for the scholarship fund are really, really important because right now we're still in the pandemic. Many students are having a hard time with tuition. We have to make it possible for Tel Aviv University to help its students to stay and complete their studies, and that's what the scholarship is about, and that's why the scholarship fund has been established, and that's why we need you to help. The university needs to thrive and develop because we haven't reached our full potential. Tel Aviv University has the intelligence, the nimbleness, the peppiness, the entrepreneurial spirit, the openness, the creativity to literally change the world. The whole world comes to Israel now to solve its problems. So I call on each of you, every one of you, to help us in our campaign. We need to raise the final $200 million. Give personally. Many of you have already done that. We're grateful. Many of you are considering gifts. Expand our prospect list. Introduce us to other people, to companies, corporations, foundations, individuals who potentially are interested in getting involved with us. Host fundraising events at your home. I've done that many times, and it's a wonderful experience to bring people together around this common cause. And our staff at Tel Aviv University will help you because they really are the best. To build this university, we must all be members of Tel Aviv University's fundraising department. I'd like to end with a story that's important to me. I think about that story often when I think about my involvement with Tel Aviv University. You know, in the Torah, there's only a few lines about the creation of the entire world, but there's many, many, many lines, almost the entire third of the Exodus book, about the building of the Mishkan, the temporary tabernacle. And so there's a lot of detail, what gold, silver, what kind of materials, what kind of wood, what kind of skins, how many cubits, how to build it, what to put where. The sages often ask, why is it that there's so little about building the entire world, but so much about building the Mishkan? And the profound insight that has meaning to me is that God understood that you cannot build a society, you cannot build a country, you cannot build a community unless you bring people together to build something together. That's what we're doing. We're building something together. Thank you so much. I look forward to our continuing work together, and God bless you.
Thank you, Anita, for your inspiring words. You are a true leader. This is my last speech as co-chair of the Global Campaign, and I could not have been prouder considering the $805 million that we have raised together so far. Just last week, American Friends of Tau raised $2 million for Tel Aviv University students and research. Bravo. Thank you, Dr. Kathy Fields and Dr. Gary Ryan, for chairing the event and donating $1 million as scholarship fund in honor of Anita. I feel confident to leave the campaign in your trusted hands, Anita and all the cabinet members. Working on the campaign with you was pure pleasure and a source of strength. Even these last 2 years of a world pandemic forced us to cope with difficulties and changes. To continue the positive momentum of the campaign, we must be creative and up-to-date in finding new and better ways to fundraise. One of the tools of modern philanthropy is the Donor Advised Fund. This tool has become very popular in the United States, especially among people who do not wish to start their own independent family foundation. So much so that most of the money raised by American universities in recent years has come through DAFs. Without getting into technicalities, the main purpose of a DAF is to make the process of donating easier. Basically, you can insert your philanthropic funds in a DAF in the form of an endowment where interest accumulates until such time as the actual donation is made. The benefit is that you receive your tax benefit upfront when you transfer the money to the DAF without the need to choose at that point which organization or cause you want to support. The DAF keeps and manages the funds until you do. This important tool wasn't available in Israel until last year. Our own Tel Aviv University Institute for Law and Philanthropy demonstrated once more its pivotal role in the Israeli philanthropic ecosystem and, together with Jewish Funders Network and Committee to Give, approached the Ministry of Finance and the Israeli tax authorities. The government was convinced that enabling the formation of Israel Donor Advised Funds will expand the circle of giving in Israel and, ultimately, increase the stream of donations. Taking the lead, Tel Aviv University decided to launch its own DAF for the benefit of its donors in Israel and abroad, the first such fund in any Israeli university. We believe that this is a rewarding and convenient way for you to continue supporting Tau and other Israeli causes which are important to you. 60% of the fund's allocations will go to Tau projects, but the other 40% can go to similar charities outside the university. So donors from around the world can channel all the Israeli philanthropy through Tau's DAF. So why DAF? They are a cost-effective alternative to running a family foundation. Donors receive immediate tax deductions. Personal information and gift details are kept confidential. Easy and transparent. Tau's new DAF doesn't require complex administration as Tau manages everything for you. Reliable investment policies according to your chosen level of risk. And for Tau, the DAF is a guaranteed source of income for sustaining and expanding our fourth-line research, teaching, and community engagement so that we'll continue to flourish and make an outsized contribution to Israel and the world. This was obviously just an introduction to the subject. We will send out more information and practical details soon. Yael Regev, Director of Development and Public Relations Division, is handling this issue, and any feedback from you will be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for supporting Tel Aviv University Global Campaign.
Thank you very much, Daphna. Thank you very much, Anita. And this is the moment that we can really invite the most important part of our university, the representative of our students. So I would like to invite Ms. Lior Chazan, who is the chairperson of the Student Union. Please, Lior.
Dear Governors, my name is Lior Chazan, and I am the chairwoman of the Student Union at Tel Aviv University. Before I started my degree, I served as an officer in the IDF for 6 years. My first position was a human resources officer in a battalion, and later on, I served as a CNO and was honorably discharged as a captain. My greatest passion always was about people, the community we share, and our ability to work together. That's why I wanted to take a major part in the students' community, and I chose to join the Student Union. Last year, I graduated my BA in Psychology and Management, and nowadays I'm studying for my MBA in the MBA program for outstanding students at the Kohler School of Management. I'm here today on behalf of all the students in Tel Aviv University, a community of remarkable and inspiring people. I would like to share with you the journey me and my fellow students have been through in the past year and a half. Due to COVID-19, we were all put to a test. We have to challenge everything we used to know about our life as students, and new priorities have emerged. The frontal classes turned into little black squares online. Many of us have lost their jobs, and our financial situation became unstable. Some even lost their ability to afford living on their own. We have had to look after our older family members or stay socially distanced apart from our loved ones. Uncertainty became an integral part of our life. Health became the primary issue concerning all of us. This change was not an easy one. We suddenly had to spend long hours studying in front of screens, Zooming all day long. Many of us did not have a proper learning environment at home. More than anything, the sense of being together, of studying at a campus, or even drinking a cup of coffee with friends was gone. No one was able to find a proper replacement for what used to take place between classes. Ellen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." As the chairwoman of the Students' Union, me and the entire Student Union stand here together to do so much. It is our goal to be here with each student from the day they are accepted to the university until they graduate. We stand together to make sure all of us will have the best students' experience possible. So today, with the realization that the world has changed forever, we make enormous effort to upgrade momentary solutions we found deficient and use them to improve our quality of our learning experience, such as recording of classes that allowed us to review the lectures and understand them better, or video conferences that are a wonderful opportunity for collaboration with other universities from all around the world. The impact of the coronavirus will probably remain with us for years to come. That is why we work hard to help students cope with these new challenges, We do that by giving scholarships and grants to those who need financial help, and by creating platforms for students to volunteer, such as the housing scholarship or volunteering with elderly citizens, to give back and help the community with its much-needed recovery. We constantly work together with the university to create a strong, diverse, and connected community. I wish you all a wonderful, healthy academic year, a year of breakthroughs and fascinating ideas. I hope we all continue our important and wonderful collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leo. We wish you great success in your endeavors. We are now turning to the unscripted part of our deliberations or discussion. It's very dark here. I think that maybe we can turn on some of the lights. And this is the Q&A part. Okay, I'm told that there was such a large flood of questions and comments from overseas that our colleagues will need to put them in order during the next few hours. So in order not to wait until all the cyberspace is cleared, let me ask you to, if you have a comment or raise your hand, question, comment, or anything else. I know that every one of you does not want to be the first, so let me ask the second one, please. Well, I'm so impressed with the great clarity of all the speakers. They have left nothing untouched. No questions. This is the last chance. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no coffee outside. Well, I think that you have had a long day, and I would like to remind you that this was only the hors d'oeuvre or the prelude to the next day. The program that you have been given indicates what we have tomorrow. We have inaugurations starting at 3 o'clock. We move on to the academic symposium in the memory of Yechiel Ben-Zvi, who we all cherish, remember, and honor. This will be at 4:30. We will then have the annual John Gandel Forum on the Middle East, a place that has nothing new, so you may want to hear. And then after a short break at 7:15 p.m. Israel time, and each one of you can subtract the number of hours where you are away from us. We will have the second plenary of the Board of Governors, where the actual baton will be passed to the next chairwoman. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this part of the session now. I want to express appreciation, and all the programmers of this program asked me to tell you, please remember to keep your masks on, and don't forget to clap at the end of the session. Thank you very much.